Nottingham Forest knock Wolverhampton Wanderers out of the Carabao Cup and progress to the semi-finals. But what are the 5 things we learnt from yesterday's victory? Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time. Guys, put your fingers in your ears and talk and see how weird it sounds. Can't do that for the rest of the video, but I'd love to. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day and welcome to your match analysis on yesterday's game as Nottingham Forest progress to the semi-final and book a double dating with Varchester United. Me versus Twist again. Honestly, the one team I didn't want was this. So in today's video, we're going to do a quick 5 things that we learned from yesterday's match. A bit of a summary and a bit of an analysis. So before we get into it, as always, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you are new here. Guys, yesterday was unbelievable. We had over 1,000 people in the watch along. We've had over 12,000 views of that watch along. And we had over 200 subscribers joining the Forest Fan TV family, because that's exactly what we are. So I want to start by saying thank you to everyone. But let's jump into this and let's jump into point number 1 on what we learned from yesterday. Point number 1, and it is very simple. Morgan Gibbs White is red. Bleeds red, loves red, is Forest through and through. And how satisfying was it to see what he did to the Wolves fans? Some of you are going to say, look, it shows a lack of professionalism. Others are going to say, we don't care. I want to know what side of the equation you sit on. For me, I loved it. I loved it. I watched a few podcasts after the match from the Wolves fans, and they were seething over Morgan Gibbs White, telling him how he should have learnt to be professional like Bolly. I say, sour grapes. I say, here's a bottle for your tears. It is so funny to see. And, you know, this is the guy that they've mocked, they've ridiculed, they've said they pulled our pants down over the price we paid for him, etc. Look, he didn't have a great game. But in the context of it, it doesn't really matter. Because what he did was start the potential new rivalry between Forest and Wolves. And it's quite fun to see. So I thoroughly enjoyed his antics, and good for him. He shut them up. They have no comeback to it. At the end of the day, whatever they say, they lost to Forest. But point number 1 is Morgan Gibbs White is a true red. For me, he's Nottingham born and bred. What do you guys think? Point number 2, I want to talk about the play style. I want to be serious for a second here. There are certain things we saw yesterday that does still worry me. And that's in terms of how Forest mentality is on the pitch. Whether that's coming from the manager, whether that's coming from the players, I don't actually know. For the first 20 minutes, I thought we played some excellent expansive football, attacking, pressing high up the pitch. And then once we scored the goal, we reverted back to that low block football and allowed a very poor Wolves team to get on top of us and dominate the match. The stats were quite ugly in terms of ball possession, in terms of everything like that. And it's starting to frustrate me a little that we're seeing at home, we're only retaining in the 30s if we're lucky in terms of possession. Now, possession doesn't win you games. I get that. I understand it. But what possession does is give you opportunities. And not having the ball and having the ball, the key to it for me is about fatigue and stamina. When you have the ball, you let the ball do the work. When you're the team who's chasing the ball, it's your legs doing the work and it's your legs doing the running. Mangala, for example, can't seem to get past 60 minutes. Whether he's still carrying a knock or whether he just, burns himself out because he's chasing the ball a lot, Forest need to start retaining more possession, especially at the City ground. We looked like a team that was fatigued in the second half. Wolves looked fitter than us. And I don't think it's down to fitness. I think it was down to the possession of the ball. And remember, our whole team had been rested against Blackpool the Saturday before. So we should have gone into that match fully fit and fully sharp. However, it's the possession that's causing us to chase the ball around too much, which is knackering our players out, which could cause us problems down the line. Do you guys agree with that, or do you disagree with that? Let me know down below. Point number 3 is on Dean Henderson, and can he or can he not play against Manchester United? The debate went into overdrive on Twitter yesterday. Don't forget, guys, if you're not following us on Twitter, we have 2 Twitter accounts. We have the @official FFTV, which is just your general Forest stuff. And then we have the stuff on transfer news and breaking news on our High Press account, which is FFTV High Press. So make sure you're following those. The links are in the link tree down below in the description. But can Henderson play against Manchester United? Well, let me give you the full story. The story is, if you are loaned out to a club, you cannot play against your parent club in the league. When it comes to league matches, it then depends. Cup matches even. I can't get the words out. It then depends on what's written in the contract. Currently, he won't be allowed to play, and he will need requested written permission from Manchester United to play in that match. The likelihood of Manchester United doing that, because they are a bunch of wusses, is going to be a no from them. So I put this message out to the Man U fans, to the Man U hierarchy. What are you so scared about? Is this not the player that you don't want at your club? If you don't want him at your club, so show a pair and release him and write that letter to let him play against you. And let's see how good Dean Henderson is. Can he handle a hostile plastic crowd at Old Trafford? Isn't that something you'd like to know? So release it and let's see how it looks. If Dean Henderson saves a penalty at Old Trafford and rubs it in your faces, how are the Man U fans going to react to that? It will be very, very interesting to see. So grow a pair, Man U, release him. But the Forest fans at the moment, prepare for Hennessy in goal. Point number 4 is more a question rather than an observation. And I think the answer is obvious, but would you rather win ugly or lose playing well? And for me, that really is the conundrum we're having at Forest at the moment. We're not being expansive enough, but we are getting the results. And trust me, I'll take a result every single time. But my frustration still is, and it showed yesterday, that we have a good team of players, but the mentality or the objectives they're being told to do on the pitch, especially after we score 1 goal, for me, isn't what we were doing last year. In that scenario yesterday where Forest took the lead after 20 minutes and Wolves were there for the taking in the first half, last season, we would have pushed our foot, on their throat, scored another goal, killed the game off, and probably ended up winning that match 2 or 3-0. However, it seemed to me that after we scored yesterday, Forest reverted to that bloody annoying low block football and then just let Wolves come on them, and then eventually the pressure and Bolly going off was huge as well, caused them to score the goal, and then Forest were hanging on towards the end of the match. I just would like to see the mentality revert back to how we played last season and how we played in the cup against the likes of Spurs and Grimsby, not Grimsby, but Blackburn, etc., where we put the foot down on the pedal and really accelerated through the gears. Why can't we do that? We will win more matches doing that. We may lose a few extra matches by an extra couple of goals, but the matches we win will end up being more comfortable because we're dominating, and it kind of links into that possession point earlier on. We will dominate these matches, we will create more chances, and we will fatigue less because the ball is moving rather than the players. Just my thoughts. And point number 5 is again about squad depth. We brought this up against the Blackpool match. It was still clear and evident to see yesterday against Wolves. They brought on players that could impact the game, like Neves, who I thought came on and actually played quite well. But I do really like him, and I was expecting him to do well. Their new signing, Kuna, he came on and impacted the game. In terms of Forest, the subs we brought on were there more reactive in terms of what Wolves are doing, more to shore it up. When Colback came on, for example, Dennis didn't really do much when he came on, and Surridge was, I'm still not convinced on him. So the depth in the squad is still not quite there. And that is a problem. We have a good few injuries at the moment, but we still have a squad well, we still need a squad, should I say, that can come off from the bench and impact and give Cooper some options and maybe some tactical changes that he can make, rather than chuck on Cole back, lock up, fingers crossed, and hold on for the best. That, for me, is something that needs to be addressed in this window. For me, I think we should have already had players in through the door. Just because the January window opens on the 1st of January doesn't mean that clubs and players aren't talking before then. We see, for example, Haaland last year going to Man City. That was all done and dusted before the window was opened. Once the window opens, he's there, day one. And that's the kind of business that I think Forest need to be doing and getting the business done ready so that when the window opens, they are ready to hit the squad and get on with integrating and being put onto the pitch. Let me know your thoughts. I know you're all sitting there saying, where's Danilo? Where's our update on Danilo? Don't worry, that's coming up in the next video. There'll be a full transfer video update to explain exactly where the situation is with him and with a couple of other players that have been linked to Nottingham Forest. So if you're watching this a little later on, don't forget to hit that link. That will have your transfer update for you. Let me know your thoughts on those 5 points. Forest are going through to the semi-finals. We're one step away from Wembley. Don't forget, before you leave, please do hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And thank you to all the members. We love you. If you want to become a member, it's only 99p on a silver membership. Go check out the transfer news right here. And we'll see you there shortly. Come on, you Reds.